Hi everyone, welcome back to WHU TV. It's nice to see you. I hope you're keeping well. This is the preview of West Ham's 12th home game of the 22-23 Premier League season, where we welcome Nottingham Forest to the London Stadium this Saturday afternoon for a 3 o'clock kickoff, and because it's a 3 o'clock kickoff, it's not live on any UK TV channel. As always, this video is sponsored by the channel sponsor 3retro.com. Please click the link in the description below that will take you directly through to the West Ham section of their website, and as you can see from the icon that's up here, there's Admiral and Umbro claret and blue track jackets, polo shirts, sweatshirts and t-shirts in there as well, so go check those out. Unfortunately, as it was at the start of the season, for any Forest fans watching, there aren't any Forest retro gear in there, I'm afraid, guys. So for those West Ham fans that are watching, any purchases you make through the link in the description below, the commission that the channel would normally be getting, I'll be sending directly on to the charity Iron Supporting Food Banks. They're based in the Newham area and helping those in the Newham area and Essex County and further afield in the last year or so that have been struggling before and after COVID and during these difficult times as well, that have been struggling to put food on their table. So guys, go grab yourself a really nice retro shirt. You'll be save yourself a few quid, and you'll be helping those that are less fortunate than you and I. And talking of retro shirts, as you can see, I'm wearing this Allardyce Classic. I'm sick and tired of wearing jumpers over the last few weeks, so I thought I'd crack out an old shirt again. So there you go. So let's talk about the officials. The referee for this game, unfortunately, is Jared Gillett. His assistants are Simon Long and Matthew Wilkes. The fourth official is John Busby. And on VAR, we have Tony Harrington, and his assistant is Stuart Burt. Now, guys, as you would have seen within the last week or so, that Lee Mason is no longer going to be refereeing at the top level. It's fantastic. This game would have had Lee Mason written all over it, I guarantee it. But anyway, let's have a recap of the away game. As you remember, we lost away 1-0 in August, and our first away game of the season at the City Ground. Right at the death of the first half, we conceded a goal from, I can't pronounce his name. He is injured, so I'll point that out again. And also Declan Rice missed a penalty. Now, we talked about the Chelsea away game for the home preview and how we were robbed with that point in the away game. If Declan Rice had scored that penalty, there's a good chance we could have properly drawn that game as well. If that was the case, we'd be on 22 points at the moment and 2 points clear of the relegation zone. This is how important potential draws that we should have had may come back to bite us within the next few games, and this is going to be a real shitter. So guys, as always, put your thoughts in the comments section below. Let me know what you're thinking at any point of this video. Forest are 13th in the table at the time of this recording. They've won 6, drawn 7 and lost 10, scoring 10 goals and conceding 38 after 23 games. Their away form shows they've won 1, drawn 3 and lost 1. They've scored 3, conceded 25 on the road, and have 4 points, 1 win and 1 draw from their last 5 away games. I really, really hope West Ham's character can make sure that they don't pick up on any other points this Saturday, but I'm not feeling it, guys. I'm really, really not. I hate to say it. I really, really do hate to say it. This is the 24th game, so after this game, we will have 14 games left. I'm not confident that we're going to stay up. I'm really, really not. I'm not going to go back to the start of the season and review my estimated points because it's absolutely smashed to pieces. The video that I did, it was quite optimistic even then, but now it just looks fucking ridiculous. I really can't see where we're going to get enough points to stay up, guys. I really, really can't. I was talking to a housemate of mine, just going off on a bit of a tangent, sorry. Just was talking to a housemate of mine last night who's a Borough fan, and we were going through the fixtures. The maximum even he can see us picking up is 12 points for the next games. It's not going to be enough to stay up unless an absolute fucking miracle happens. But anyway, let's get back to Forest's style of play, which is playing with long balls, attacking down the right, taking a lot of shots, including attempting crosses often and playing in their own half as well. They are strong at aerial duels, but it is their only strength, and they are weak at finishing scoring chances, keeping possession of the ball in their own half and defending set pieces and defending against long shots, through ball attacks and attacks down the right. And they are very weak at avoiding fouling in dangerous areas. Now that really helps us from that point of view, because their right-hand side, aka our left-hand side, is getting stronger. Our right-hand side is getting stronger as well, but they attack down their right, and which will be our left. We are getting better, but as I said, I really hope, we're all hoping for a miracle. Now, turning to injuries, guys, go grab yourself a cup of tea. This is going to take a while. If you get some biscuits, it's going to take a while, unfortunately, as we know Forest have got quite a large squad, and unfortunately, as a result of it, they've got quite a lot of injuries. Some of which I was quite surprised to see that what players they've got going through this. Forest have long-term injuries to, first of all, former Hammer Czech Kouate with a thigh injury. Bian Kon, Kone, I think you pronounce it, is out with a knee injury. Richards is out with a calf injury. All of those guys so far at the time of this recording don't have a return date confirmed as yet. Bolly is out with a thigh injury and could be back around about the end of the season. McKenna is also suffering from a thigh injury and could be back around about the beginning of April. Probably more training more than anything else. Nikati, I think you pronounced that, and Henderson are also out with thigh injuries and could be back around about the start of March. Also, former West Ham loanee Jesse Lingard is 25% chance of returning this week from an Achilles and knee injury. Again, possibly training, but this is West Ham, you know what's going to come. And Yates is also 25% chance of returning this week from illness, as is Aurier, chance of returning from picking up a knock in their last game. Now, that's a lot of injuries, as I said, and it was just surprising going for it. I didn't know Kouate had left Palace for him. I didn't in any shape or form. It's a shame because it would have been nice to see him one last time before we go down. But you never know. You never know. Stranger things have happened. Aurier has won the most aerial duels away from home for Forest, and their highest goal scorers on the road are Johnson, Surridge and Ayoane, I think you pronounced that, who's also out with a groin and hip injury. He's the one that scored towards the end of the first half, at the death of the first half, I should say, in the away game, and he's out around to about middle of March, so that's very good from that point of view. All three of those players are currently on a goal each, and Johnson is also their highest assister away from home with 2 assists. Now, players to look out for, other than the ones that we've mentioned, again, wasn't so surprised that a lot of players we're looking at here. Andre Ayew is on their books, Chris Wood, Stephen Colbeck, John Joe Shelvey, Gibbs White. It's bonkers the amount of people they've got, and those are the players that I really do think we need to be keeping an eye out for. Now, Steve Cooper's away formations aren't very consistent, which in a way is quite a good thing, because I always say, guys, you know this, for those who've been watching the videos over the channel and the live watch-alongs for the last few years, I've always said change your formation to exploit the gaps that the opposition have. But the majority of the time away from home, the go-to formation has been 4-3-3. Now, as a result of it, this might be a really big red flag for a lot of you guys, but I do genuinely think we need to go 4-2-3-1. I know that didn't work properly with the preceding games up to the Everton home game, but 4 at the back can cost us. But we can't defend and we can't attack, and we've got a very shaky midfield. What's the point? What's the point in worrying? So, guys, let's now jump over to the squad analysis of Forest and potential tactics of Forest for the Patreons. If you want to become a Patreon and watch the extended versions, because this is going to jump straight to the West Ham section after this, links are in the description below. £2.50 plus VAT a month, or £3 plus VAT a month. You pay less for half a pint in London, for fuck's sake. You guys spend the equivalent of what would cost you a year's worth of subscription to this Patreon channel down the pub in one night, the Saturday or Sunday. You know, and that's exactly what it is, guys. So if you want to become a Patreon, get extended content, and also for that matter, I've started doing weekly blogs now to get the blogs back up and running. So if you want to go check those out, Links are in the description. But now, as I say, let's turn over to the channel, over to Patreon, and go into more detail for those that want to see it. Okay, guys, so turning to West Ham. I don't want to say this is the biggest game of the season, because we've still got to play teams that are in and around our positions, and those guys are going to be the bigger games. Yes, this is a 6-pointer. Yes, there's a hell of a lot of pressure on this. Yes, David Moyes may be sacked. I doubt it, but he could be on his way out if we lose this game. He could be on his way out if we draw, to be honest with you, depending on what else happens with the 3 o'clock kickoffs as well. There's a lot riding on this game, a hell of a lot, and a lot more than it should, to be fair. You know, I do agree with... It's not very often I agree with Floyd Hasselbank and... what's his name? The former Liverpool manager, Souness. There's not very often, but they both said after the game, when they were talking about West Ham for the 30-40 seconds exposure we got in that fucking fixture, they did say after the game that the players are putting the manager in a difficult position, and to a degree I agree with them. Yes, Moyes' tactics have been terrible, yes, but at the same point, so many individual errors leading to the goals for Spurs. So many. It was ridiculous. I do feel sorry for Ogbonna, because that was a piss poor defensive header he did that put the ball right to Kane, who fed a beautiful ball up to Son for the second. 5 or 6 midfield stroke defending errors that led the ball up to get up to Royal from Davis for the first. It's just, it's worrying times. As I say, we can't defend, we can't attack. Our midfield is weak as shit. But I take issue with Rice. I take it big time. I've said it many, many times on this channel, and he's a victim of his own ego, and he's not a captain yet. You know, the comments that he came out with after the game, saying about that we're questioning the tactics of Moyes, saying that that we didn't really give Antonio and Bowen enough support up front. He's a fucking captain. Why isn't he telling them to do it? Telling his players to get up more, give him the ball much. That's exactly what his job is supposed to do. He's supposed to identify the problems and boost the team and make the changes himself. If to tell people's players, get up, do this, move here, do that. He can't do it. He can't do it. He will in a few years, but at the moment, he can't do it. And yeah, I generally think he's a victim of his own ego. He gives it all that in the cameras after the game, but what's he? I don't remember seeing him. I mean, obviously it's different with if you were there for the game, put the comments in the comment section below. Let me know. But if it was just, I don't recall seeing him on any occasion really giving tactical analysis out to players, going, right, you need to be, like for example, Souček, go here, give him the ball there, etc., etc. He's great. He looks like he knows what he's doing when he's on the ball, and he's a fantastic player for us. And I'm not saying anything to the contrary, but at the same point, he has to be showing leadership skills, which includes saying to Moyes, why can we do this? Why aren't we doing that? Bowen, get here, blah, blah, blah. Do you know what I mean? It's ridiculous. If that Bowen goal had been scored at the start of the game, I reckon we could have got a point out of that game. I really, really do. The first half, we were phenomenal. Really, really good. It was a slow start from both teams, which really suited us. The positioning of the players was fantastic for the defending in the first half. We were there for the second ball, which we hardly ever see, especially when it's the second ball of the opponents. But at the same point, guys, I do genuinely think that we fucked it in the second half. We really, really did. Tactics aside, substitutions aside, I still maintain it's the individual errors of the players that are causing these issues. And like I said, guys, I can't see us getting 56% win ratio between now and the end of the season in order to keep us up out of the remaining games, and this one included. I really can't. But I want to give you some good news. Turning to the West Ham injury list, technically there ain't none. Cornet's returned from training to this week, as has Zuma. Not really sure if Cornet's going to be fit for this, but there is a good chance we may see Kurt Zuma maybe, I don't know. Areola and Scamacca have also been training more this week, which is fantastic. Even Paqueta, I should say, is aiming to be in the squad for this game as well. I don't think he's going to be in the starting 11 in any shape or form. We know that Bowen picked up one or two little knocks during the Spurs game, but apparently he seems to be okay, and it does look like he's okay, and that we will be seeing him in the squad, or maybe the starting 11 for Forest as well. So it's very, very good news, guys, and I can't underplay how important this good news is, because basically Moyes, maybe Cornet and maybe Paqueta aside, has got a full squad to choose from. Now, this is the question, because we're going to talk about the starting 11 now. This is the question. What do we do? I personally think we should go for 4-2-3-1, and you'll see this in a minute. I was this close to putting Danny Ings in for his first start. He may get his first start this Saturday. But I would personally, because Forest would suit, really, really would suit Danny Ings. Really, really would. But I still think that this game would suit Scamacca as well. But this is the starting 11 that I put out, and yet, unfortunately, yes, I have dropped Antonio as a result of it, but this is the starting 11 that I want to see. I know David Moyes is not going to do it in a million years, but this is the starting 11 that I want to see. Areola in goal, with the back four of Soufal, Kehrer, Aguerd and Creswell. Rice and Downs in the defensive midfield positions, with Bowen, Fornals and Benrahma in midfield, supporting Scamacca up front. So thank you very much for your time, guys. I know that starting 11 is going to be controversial, but as I said it many, many times, Moyes needs to absolutely fucking go for it, and he's not doing it. That's the reason why we're struggling. That's the reason why I put that starting 11 together. But I was this close to putting Danny Ings in, as I've said. Very, very close to having Antonio out on the right instead of Bowen as well. But yeah, let me know what your starting 11s are, and I'll be interested to see what your thoughts are. But in the meantime, guys, enjoy the rest of your weekend, because it's basically, this is going up Thursday afternoon, so enjoy your Thursday and Friday, and hopefully we'll enjoy our Saturday as well. And of course we'll have the full-time thoughts video at the end of the game. But in the meantime, guys, thank you very, very much for sticking with me. I know this has been quite a longer video than it should have been, but that's the way it goes, especially when we're in dire shit. This is where we are at the minute. So thank you very much for your time, guys. Look after yourselves. Subscribe if you haven't already done so and you're new around here, and subscribe if you haven't already done so. And I'll see you very, very soon. All the best now. Take care.